Hello and welcome to day 21 of the 1000 Days of No Code Challenge. So, you have probably noticed something in most of the applications that you use on day to day basis. Either the left menu is always there even if you scroll, or it could be the top menu which stays there even when you scroll. Weird, right? Well, that's not just a design choice, it's actually a super handy feature called floating groups. The name itself suggests that it will be floating on the screen. It keeps navigation easy and accessible no matter how far down you have scrolled through the page. In fact, it's one of the most convenient features available on most of the applications these days. Today, we are going to build one for our own app, trying to replicate what Twitter has to offer. So, let's get started. So, this is a floating group, and the reason I say so is even when you scroll, right, that stays floating on the page. Let's see some more examples of this. If you go to razorpay.com, you can see this top bar floating even when you scroll, right? So this is nothing but a floating group. Now if you go to chatbot.com, you can see this one which is floating. When you scroll, this icon and this pop-up remains floating, right? That's again an example of floating group. So let's understand how to build a floating group and build one within our application. Today we are replicating what we have on Twitter or X platform. Before we add a floating group, for this to make sense, we have to do some changes. Okay, that is change the X value to 330, which would move the group towards right. And you can also make the width to, let's say, 600. Okay, or maybe 700. Okay, so any group that we have within fits well. And now we have about 320 pixels space on the left so that we can add the floating group. Let's see. Now I'll search for floating group, drag and drop. Whenever you add a floating group, it will stick to the left top. Now you have the option to move this from top to bottom, okay, which goes to the bottom of the page, or you can bring it both, which means it's for the entire region, right? You can shift it from left to right, okay, or you can also bring it in the center. For now, we'll make it as left, and both is good enough. Or what you can also do is make it as top and remove this fit height to content, which will make it full page width. Now you can see that this group is on the right side, so it's not overlapping. Okay, so let me add some light color to this so you can differentiate. Let's see. Yeah, you see we have a left floating group here, right? So even though this content changes, right, this does not change. Let's head back to Twitter and see how they have designed it and try to replicate it. So we have the logo on the top, then we have icon with text, icon with text, icon with text, and so on and so forth. Let's try to replicate that. I'll add an image over here. Let's make this as just 60 bar 60. Okay, you can make it this way, or you can also make it as keep element aspect ratio fixed. Okay, 1:1. Now this image is not on the topmost. Let's add some margin. So I'm adding margin on the top and left maybe 30. Okay, I'll be adding our ABCD logo. You can add any of your logos. So you can see the logo has been added. So let's add home, explore, and notification for now, right? I'll drag and drop the button. The reason being, you can make it as label, icon, or icon and label together. So we will do it this way. And icon can be home. Okay, we don't have home in this material. So let me select this. and this is called home, right? You can also say what is the gap between them. Let's make it as 12. Okay, and then let's remove this so it takes the full space of the floating group, right? But that's not how it is. Now you see that this both are sticking to each other. That's not what we want. So what we will do is we will go here and say 15 spacing between them. Okay, now it should be good enough. And we have added the margins over here. We can do it that way, or we can remove the margin from here and add a padding here, okay, of 30 and 30. Okay, so what it does is for the entire floating group, we have paddings added on both the sides. Okay, now this is purplish color. This has a purple color. Let's make this as EB. Okay, the same color as our background, and the color text color can be black. Icon color can be black as well. Now we also want to add roundness 20. Okay, and we also want to add a condition, which is when this button is hovered, background style is flat color, and background color, let's say 2B. It's too dark, so let's change this to 40%. Sorry, let's change this to 40%. Okay, you can check how it looks like. It's something like this. Maybe 40 is also too dark, so let's change this to 20%. Yeah, this is okay, good enough. Now once you do one of the groups, you can just copy paste, and the next one is explore, which is search icon, right? And this is called explore. Similarly, copy paste, and the next one is notifications, maybe this one, and then name it as notifications. Likewise, you can add multiple other things. Let's see how this looks like. So when I hover, isn't it cool? Alright, so we have successfully added a left floating group to our app. It might seem that it's a very small thing that we added, but as we build a lot of things on our app, you will see how significant this left floating group is a part of our app. In the next video, let's discover how do we create new pages and how to navigate from one page to another page. Until then, keep experimenting, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep inspiring others.